if I knew these things that this man knows when I was younger, I'd own a block by now. This is the guys, anybody listening or watching, this is the man that I heard say, your network is your net worth. So when you hear me say that, Dariel is the guy I stole it from. I think it's the most amazing thing to say.
I'll never forget the day I'm walking down the stairs and I told my wife, babe, I quit American Express. She looked like she saw a ghost. And she was like, you did what?
People get so depressed when one door closes. No, bro, one door closes, God will open up 10 more. I heard somebody say this in another podcast, that he said one of the best things my father ever did was come home. Welcome to the Father's Podcast. My name is Emilio, your host, and I am here with a great friend of mine that I met not too long ago and really made an impact on me. And Dariel, I appreciate you coming in, my brother.
Thank you, my bro. Thank you for having me.
I've been looking forward to interviewing you and talking to you and having a great conversation with you. So I'm glad that you came in. I know you're a busy man, bro, and you took the time to come here. New baby boy, right?
Yep.
So you know, I know how that is being a father myself. So I appreciate your time. So this is the Father's Podcast, where we created a platform here to, and I hate to say this like this, but it's just, unfortunately, fathers aren't promoted the way they should be, I think, in this world especially. I think that the proof is in when it's Mother's Day, you see a bunch of advertisement. Father's Day, we're lucky if we get a Lowe's commercial. You know what I mean? So I wanted to do something that will show people the importance of fatherhood, and not just, you know, I think the stigma is especially in the Latino, unfortunately, the Black community, is fathers aren't around, or a lot of people without fathers. So you're an incredible father, incredible husband, incredible businessman, and we want to. This is why we created this platform, to be able to show people like yourself, and show a different perception, man, of what we can do and what the importance of fathers like yourself can do. So I appreciate you coming in, my brother.
Thank you, man.
Thank you so much.
I appreciate you leading by example, because that's what it's all about.
Thank you, my brother. I always say, I try not to talk about what I'm not good at. I practice what I preach, the stuff that I do practice, and but I'm very open-minded to listening. And when I saw you speak at when you did your thing, I mean, bro, I was just tuned in. You know what I mean? And it's crazy because no matter what age you are, bro, I just think that you can always learn. Yeah. Well, I learned from my kids. I learned from young men, you know what I mean, young women. Shout outs to mothers as well. It's not just for fathers, right? Like, we wouldn't be fathers without the mom. So, you know, there's a lot of women out there that I hope are listening in, and maybe they can kind of, you know, talk to their children about the importance of fatherhood. You know what I mean? So if you can, I want you to tell, you know, the listeners and the viewers a little bit about yourself, what you do. And then we'll kind of get into other things that we're going to talk about. But I know you deal with mortgage lending, and you've been doing it for how long?
About 5 years.
Oh, yeah. Wow. All right, perfect. So maybe you can get into, you know, what your company is and what you do.
Yeah, so starting on the business side, we are basically a team of 3, Vice City Lending.
Okay.
2 great friends of mine, Beatrice and Johnny. We basically started around 2020 with an idea. And like any business idea, you want to find what the major problems in the industry are before you can jump head first, right? So we started doing some due diligence, found what some of the problems were, and then incorporated systems in place to find the solution. Mm-hmm. And in mortgages, we basically determined that if we're prospecting business to business instead of business to consumer, we're going to grow a lot faster. Okay. So instead of prospecting the consumer that needs the mortgage, we started prospecting real estate agents. So we basically started interviewing a bunch of top producers, and found out that they all have the same complaints and negative pain points about their mortgage lender, and we wanted to be that solution for them. So we started, Johnny and I first, when we were working together in corporate America at American Express, side by side. He's been a great friend of mine since 2013, and we've always worked together, which is funny. And at some point or another, we were just like, we were ready to jump the ship. We noticed that in corporate America, we were just jumping from one room to another of the Titanic. The Titanic was
yeah.
sinking. It wasn't the long-term game plan that we wanted. So we were in corporate America, and we essentially noticed that we wanted to be self-employed. We always wanted it. It was just scary to jump ship. So we started in a bank. Johnny and I were working at a bank, and we decided to really tone in on building the systems to be able to provide a monster product and also to be able to provide great service, right?
Awesome.
And we were working on that, but we were new in the industry. We didn't have the experience to structure a mortgage like with very high intelligence, attention to detail. We were great at sales, acquisition, building relationships, and that's when Beatrice came on board with our team, and that's when we really took off. That's when we noticed, like, all right, we got a good team. I handle a lot of the marketing side. Johnny handles a lot of the operations and follow-up, but we both do the sales. We equally do the sales in the business. He just has a strength in organizing, building systems, and the follow-up. And then I happen to have a strength with being able to do a lot of the marketing, word of mouth, getting us into different rooms with different people. And Beatrice just is gifted at being able to structure mortgages like very few people that I know. And then it all kind of came together. So that's us, man. That's a little bit about us.
So tell me, how did you transition from going from American Express to mortgages?
So it was actually around halfway through the career in Amex. We were there for about 4.5 years. And halfway through there, my wife was a real estate agent for a developer. And the developer had a mortgage lender in the office. And, we kind of just became friends. Steph would always speak great about the guy. The guy ended up opening up a brokerage, and he's like, man, you guys, would be good at this. He said you guys at that point because I also introduced him to Johnny. Johnny and I have always been like brainstorming, how can we get out of here, right? And he basically said, I think you guys would be great at mortgages. And we're like, we don't know anything about mortgages. He's like, as long as you have the systems, it's very easy. And if you're coachable, you can learn it. Like every business, it could be simple, but it's not easy. It's simple to say, well, this is what it is that you got to do. Just go out and do it.
Yeah.
The efforts of having to do it, that's the intangible part. He saw that we were hungry, so he saw an opportunity in us. And then we still were kind of like, bro, walking away from a 6-figure job with great benefits in a Fortune 500 company is very hard, especially with a family. At the time, I was just, married with Steph with no kids. But my partner, Johnny, he had 2 kids. It's a bigger responsibility to leave a secure income to the world of the unknown of self-employment. So that's how we got in. It was a seed that was planted, and the idea came. I know you talk a lot about faith. I think if I were to go back, I think it wouldn't have come out perfect if I knew what was going to come, because God has a weird way of putting you in positions where you don't think you're in the right track. But in reality, he's actually putting you in the exact place you need to be to learn skills, to meet certain people that will eventually get you to where you want to go as long as you have faith. Awesome. And I'm a big believer in that.
Absolutely. And you had vision.
Yeah.
You had vision. And what's good about it is that I like what you're saying is that you had Johnny with you. And I think brotherhood is very important, bro.
Big time.
Having somebody else, I'm a big believer on 2 heads are better than 1, 3 are better than 2. I mean, building a team. We had a guy here not too long ago, and I asked him, very successful man, young man, and I said, what's one of the what's the secret? What's some of the secrets that you can share? And he said, building a team, man. Having a team that believes in you as much as you believe in yourself. Like, I was like, wow, that's pretty deep, bro.
That's deep.
So I want to just say, shout out to Johnny, bro, because you guys have developed and Beatrice, right?
Yeah.
Shout out to your team, bro, that you guys from 2000 you guys opened up when?
We opened up together, us 3 in 2022, and we were all 3 of us already in the industry around 2020.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you've grown tremendously. And
so we really took off once we, 1, liked working with each other, and 2, we really were like, we can run in the direction we want to go.
Yeah.
We knew very clearly early on what our individual strengths were, and to be able to run without being held back by things that you don't really like to do, or things that you're not good at, that you have lack of confidence. That's what a lot of people get slowed down. You need to learn everything about the industry as much as possible. You don't want to be completely clueless. But at the same time, when you can learn to trust a partner, and that partner happens to have the same moral compass you have, they happen to have the same work ethic, it's almost like we won a little bit of the lottery. Like, it's hard to find people that are willing to work 24/7, that you can get along, that there's no excuses. You don't have to micromanage anybody. Everybody knows exactly what they need to do. It's a great feeling, and all the pieces fall into the puzzle, and I give all the glory to God, because there's no other way I can look back and say that was perfectly planned. It was not planned. It just kind of happened organically.
Yeah, I have a thing I always tell people, and I try to practice it myself. You can't say everything happens for a reason when it's convenient to you.
Right.
It literally, when the storm is coming, the storm is coming. Embrace it, and say, if this storm is here, is because something must be coming that's great. And a lot of times, I'm sure you'll agree with this, there's been times in my life, brother, that something happened. I'm like, bro, it's the worst thing that could ever happen to me. But then, whether it's 3 days later, a week later, 2 months later, years later, you go, if that didn't happen, this wouldn't have happened.
Right.
So you have to really embrace that, man. So I think just kind of just knowing you're in a storm, recognizing it, and having the perception of, okay, I'm gonna get out this storm, and not go around it. I'm gonna go through it.
Right.
You know what I mean? I heard another gentleman say that.
Yep.
And sometimes we try to go around and go around.
We're trying to avoid the toughness of what's gonna really, right behind pressure, adversity, and tough challenges is where the success lies.
Yeah. How do you know how strong you are if you don't have adversity?
Right.
I think it teaches us how to be strong. And that's awesome, man, that you did something you never did, and you said yourself, you educated yourself. You guys, obviously you didn't know everything, but before you went out there, you said, let's learn certain things. Let's learn what's happening in the industry, so that at least, fake it till you make it, but with some knowledge, to be able to be where you're at today, man. So
I actually believe in faith it till you make it.
Yeah, faith it till you make
it. Yeah, faith it till you make
I'm gonna steal that one too, my brother.
So, I call it a calculated risk, right? Like, we know we're taking a risk.
Faith it till you make it.
Yeah, we're taking a calculated risk, because, as long as you eliminate the factors that then, you eliminate all the possible avenues of failure, and it only lands on your work ethic, that's when okay, I believe in myself, and I believe in my relationships, that I know I can be successful one way or another, as long as God gives me the health and ability to do it. That's why, bro, I feel like you got to be grateful, man. Like,
absolutely, brother. Absolutely.
Especially how we started, you know what I mean?
Bro. No, that's awesome, man. And again, I think there's a lot of people that aren't in your position. It's kind of, not to say it's easier, but if you're not making good money, or you don't have a great job, or then you're like, hey, I got to get out of here. You were actually making incredible money. You were already providing, both of you guys. And for you guys to take a leap of faith like that in a good position, you know what I mean? I think that's even harder, brother, at times, because you're like, I'm sure people around you were like, what are you doing, bro? You're already doing your thing.
I'll never forget the day I'm walking down the stairs, and I told my wife, babe, I quit American Express. She looked like she saw a ghost. And she was like, you did what?
Yeah.
And I said, I have to rip it off like a Band-Aid. There's no more, like, I burned my ships, right? There's no going back, by the way. I didn't leave open doors. Yeah. I had to put my back against the wall, because at some point or another, you have to believe in yourself. Yeah. And I think a lot of people like that. They don't self-reflect enough, so they don't find the value in themselves. They don't have the confidence they need, and vice versa. You don't want to be overly, confident, but you do need to do some kind of analysis of what you're about to do, and take that calculated risk, because I'm so happy that I did it. Like, our lives have changed forever.
Well, I think, there's a difference between being conceited and being confident. And I think some people, no, it's not being conceited. I mean, I think you have to have self-esteem. We had a dad that I interviewed, a very successful man, and he said one of the biggest things that he teaches his son is self-esteem. Because if you have self-esteem, then that will bring the confidence that you need to do anything in your life. Yeah. And I think that makes just a lot of sense. You know what I mean? If you don't believe in yourself, then you're not going to take these leaps of faith that you can take. Right. I think that's big, man, that you did that, and I applaud you for just in general to do such a great thing, man. This is the guys, anybody listening or watching, this is the man that I heard say, your network is your net worth. So when you hear me say that, Dariel is the guy I stole it from. I think it's the most amazing thing to say to people. In Spanish, my mom says, dime quién anda, te digo quién eres.
Right.
And when I heard it, bro, I was like, wow, that's just so powerful.
And by the way, you can give me credit the first time, and after that, you keep it yourself. 'Cause I got it from somebody. I didn't create that.
Faith until you make it, bro. I'm gonna start
all
saying
of those
that.
things are just things that have stuck with me
bro.
that I've heard from other people, and like when that light bulb goes off, and you're like, oh man, that was good, and then you want to, communicate.
I'm a very logical person, bro. Like thankfully, I've never got into like drugs or nothing like that because it just didn't make sense. You know what I mean? And growing up in New York and seeing especially growing up in the the 80s and the 90s, crack stuff out there, all that stuff, and I was like, why are these guys? If I'm thirsty, I don't drink Drano. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Why would I, put something that's a chemical? And thankfully, I kind of stayed away from that. And but it's just I'm a very logical person, so when I hear things like that. Bro, it just makes so much sense, man.
It clicks.
It's just clear as day. What somebody else has said, never be the smartest guy in the room.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like stuff like that you hear, and I just don't think that our people, bro. And again, this is for everybody. I don't care what color, I don't care if you're green, brown, black. I don't care who you are. I want everybody to be impacted by this platform. But obviously, I want this to be for our people, bro. I want Latinos and I want blacks and I want, I don't care age, I don't care who you are. Listen to this stuff and. If you're in a position that, you think you're a failure, you think you're going through depression, or you don't think you can make it, or you think you can, listen, and guys, listen to this man. He took a 6-figure income and he said, I'm going to take a chance. I'm going to rip the Band-Aid off and I'm going to go full force into what I want to do. You have to do what you need to do until you can do what you want to do. But man, I appreciate you, man.
Thank you, bro.
I appreciate your story. And I think a lot of people will see you and the people that look like us, bro. You know what I mean? That could say, if they can do, I'm a big person. If you could do it, I can do it.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I think that's just goes for it doesn't, and actually I want to ask you this, getting into like kind of fatherhood. Did you have a mother and father in your household? You did.
So I actually wanted to give a shout out to, speaking of fathers, right? My dad, biggest shout out to my dad. He's one of the best examples of being a father I think can possibly exist. My mom and my dad are my number one supporters, along with my wife, my sister. Awesome. I have a great support system. I feel like there's having your support system is huge, and it sucks that some people don't have that. So I'm very grateful for me to have that level of support. I'm talking about anything I've ever done. The first ones to jump were my sister and my parents. That's awesome. And when I was with my wife, we met, we became boyfriend, girlfriend, we got engaged, we got married. She'll literally support me in anything. Sometimes she'll freak out when I make a crazy decision, but she always has supported me as well. That's awesome. Having that support system is huge. My dad was a defense attorney in Cuba, basically left everything and came with a pair of clothes to provide a future for my sister and I. And started from the ground up, cutting meat at 5 a.m. at a supermarket to be able to provide that platform. And I'll never forget, my dad just said, whatever it is you want to do, just be good at it. Yeah. You got to have a passion for it. You got to do the best that you can. But I'll support you in anything. And I've gone from studying to become a firefighter, paramedic, did that, worked at a hospital, never ended up getting hired to the fire department. God had his mysterious ways, and we can get into a whole detailed story. That was crazy how competitive it was in 2011. From there, working telesales, working in financial services where I met Johnny, just whatever it was I did, my number one fans were my parents. That's awesome. And that to me is like, how much more can you possibly ask for? With that, it's like work ethic, great example. Marriage, great example. How to be a charismatic person with a big network. My dad has so many friends and so many people that genuinely care about him and love him, and he's just very humble. And those things is what I'm growing up around. It's like, I have to fill those big boots. I have to be that example. And now it's like the most rewarding feeling in the planet is hearing your father say, I'm proud of you.
That's awesome. Yeah. I mean, it's, and again, getting back to fatherhood is very important. And I wasn't raised by my biological, unfortunately, but a man stepped up when I was 6 years old. He's no longer with us today, but he didn't. I always say this, and I tell people, my dad told me I love you 5 times, like literally 5 times, and I remember, and each time he said it, it was so like wow, you know what I mean? And that generation being Hiwado from Puerto Rico, and it was just like like you get hurt, get up, he was very strong, but I knew he loved me, and I think for it's always hard for a man to raise another man's child. I think that's just what it is, and I think that's just anybody could be a father. It takes something to be a dad. You know what I mean? And I love your hat, Dad Gang. You know what I mean? That's awesome, man. And I think you have you that grew up in a great loving household, mother and father, the sacrifices your father, and obviously we're in South Florida, right? What Cubans have had to go through to get to this country. I mean, bro, they're risking their lives, bro, for their family. They're to go from being a defense attorney, you said, in Cuba, to cutting meat.
Right.
Ego obviously didn't matter to him. His priority was his family.
Right.
So shout out to your pops and your moms, man. But it doesn't matter whether you're raised with a mother and father or you're raised without a mother and father. At the end of the day, it's within you as an individual to be who you want to be and to put yourself in a position to do what you want to do, right?
Right.
But having, because there's people that have mothers and fathers that don't support them.
Right.
So what does it matter that you have a mother and father if you're not being supported by them? You know what I mean?
Right.
It gets to a point, and I think men, it's not that it's harder for men, but I really believe in the traditional, what a man does, provide, protect, and to take that job and embrace it. You know what I mean? I try to teach my kids to think about your future wives, think about your future. I tell my daughters, think about your future husband. If you're thinking about your future husband or wives, you might make different decisions. Right. You know what I mean?
I think that's a huge skill that, as a father, everyone wants to implement, and it's just hard to implement it. But giving a long-term vision to your kids from a very young age, so they forget about the short distance, small-minded thinking. Thinking long-term about everything is something that is important, and I think that's something that I've always had in my mind. Like, when I become a father, like, how am I going to be an example? How am I going to be talking to them? And now that I'm here, is like, I can't wait. Every day I look forward to seeing what the next day is going to look like, and being able to, show them one thing and be able to lead by example, but also give them that vision, is huge. And touching on the subject that you were talking about, like, bro, some people don't have the same opportunity, and not everyone gets a fair hand. You know what I mean? And the fact that we live in the greatest country in the world, the fact that we are able to be open about our faith, there's places in the world you can't, including Cuba is one of them. That in itself is a blessing, because, in the Bible says iron sharpens iron, right? Absolutely. So if you're in a position where you don't have you're not fortunate to have been growing up in a good household, at least follow what the Bible says. Look at what Jesus' life was like. Fall in love with your faith. You know what I mean? And then from that perspective, you can go ahead and start meeting the right kind of people that follow the same thing that you do. And before you know it, you're going to have that support system. And God is going to point you in that direction. But if you don't go to Him first, I think you're in an uphill battle at that point.
I mean, when my dad died, it really hurt me, man. You know what I mean? I mean, it's the only man that, that, again, we don't go to really men and you know what I mean? Right. Like, you really only have one, maybe you have an uncle, you're blessed to have an uncle or somebody that's a father figure. But when he died, man, it really hurt me. Oh, it hurt me, bro. It was
How
bad.
long ago was this?
12 years ago now.
Okay.
Yeah, 12 years ago, 13 years ago. He did 13 years
Sorry
ago.
for your loss, man.
Nah, man. And it's still to this day, brother. It hurts me. And every Father's Day, every birthday, he died around Thanksgiving. And so I always say I have 3 bad days a year, and those are the 3 bad days. You know what I mean? But again, I try to celebrate them as much as I can. And but it's the importance of, I heard somebody say this on another podcast, that he said one of the best things my father ever did was come home. Like, you know what I mean? And
It's
that's
in the little things, man.
bro. It's big, bro. Like even though you might be broke, you know, growing up in New York, where like you came home.
Right. That's huge.
Get out here.
Yeah. It's
It's
not, bro.
like we
I
go
can
home, bro.
feel your pain, bro, because you know I have close friends of mine that had similar scenarios, and I think out of all the painful things I've ever heard from close friends of mine, having a lack of a father figure in their lives, or even going through challenges where there's a loss in their family, I think that has to be one of the most painful things us as men can probably deal with.
Yeah, it's you know, it's an emotional subject for me just because. But again, I had asked, I asked people this that don't have fathers, like, do you think you'd be where you're at if you did have your biological? You know, I can't answer that. Obviously, I'm not I'm not a fortune or whatever. I can't. But I know that because of the faith that I have, my journey is my journey. Because my biological wasn't around, I told myself I will not be a statistic. I'll make a difference. You know what I mean? And it just made me just lock in. You know, having a kid. You know, my oldest is 29 years old. My youngest is 15. And I have wonderful kids, way better than I ever was. You know what I mean? I mean, just incredible kids, man.
That's awesome.
And I really embraced it. You know, I've made my mistakes, but it's just, I think it's a blessing from the Lord to have a second chance. You know what I mean?
Right.
At making a difference. You know, you in your beginning journey, you have a 15-month-old, right?
Yeah.
Now a new baby, right? That you just had. You know, so I wish you many blessings in that journey.
Thank you,
Embrace it, bro, because literally, bro, I remember holding my first son and it, bro, it's 29 years ago.
29
And bro, I
years
see them, they're always gonna be your baby.
Yeah.
I look at my kids, they're still babies. They're still, I don't care how old they are, how big they are.
Yep. You start to appreciate what your parents have done. You know, like they're gonna see you always as their child. You know what I mean?
It's, you know, it doesn't matter whether, you know, if we get blessed to be 80 years old and they're 60 or whatever, they're always going to be the child. We're always going to be the parents, and we have to be there for them. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I just think that a lot of fathers, you guys listening and watching, don't be scared of it, man. There's no manual for it, right? You just kind of go with it. But you work on yourself. Don't just work on the outside, work on the inside. You know what I mean? And I think that as long as you're present, like again, you know, he came home. He didn't,
Right.
you know what I mean?
Right.
So I think
I
that's
think,
big, bro.
brother, like this is your testimony. Life will give you that challenge, and you're gonna have your testimony.
Yeah.
The fact that you grew up the way that you did, and then, you know, God gave you the ability to have 5 kids, and now you get to be that at 6, right?
6 babies, yeah.
6 kids, bro.
6 babies, bro.
That is a blessing, because I'll give you the opposite, perspective, and that's my testimony. And look how things can always align in the middle, right? I grew up in a great household. I had this whole ability. Steph and I had the dream, and still have the dream life where we boyfriend, girlfriend, you know, move out, fiance, get married, destination wedding, everything's heading in the right direction. We try to have kids and we couldn't have kids.
Oh, wow.
And here you have the ability that you just naturally were able to have 6 kids that are now all crushing it, by the way. He behind the scenes like told me everything about them. Shout out to all your kids.
Thank you, man.
Because that's amazing, because now you have a purpose and you now get to share your testimony, because what happened is in the past and you already kind of are living out what the purpose of all of that was, I think. And with us not being able to have kids after like 7 years, we're like, we really got to check ourselves. We got to try. And then one doctor led to another. It was an infertility situation. Wow. They couldn't pin it down. You know, is it you? Is it her? It was kind of unclear. We ended up getting what's called an IUI. Okay, probably some women know out there there's more infertility issues with women today than there has been in a very, very long time. Sometime in the future, we'll find out why. But we ended up getting pregnant, and it was twins.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and then once things were heading pretty well in the beginning, and then the pregnancy started getting complicated. Things didn't head in the right direction, and we had to have the babies very, very early on. We're talking about 25 weeks.
Wow.
You know, so that was very rough.
super
The babies
early,
were born 1 pound each.
Wow.
So after 7 days, one of them couldn't make it.
Ay, Dios mío.
You know, so
That's crazy, brother.
there's two sides always to the coin. You know,
That's crazy.
I share the pain.
Yeah, bro. You know, I can only imagine, my brother, because one of my biggest fears is something happened to my babies. You know what I mean? I don't think any parent should ever have to endure that. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, and but God gave you one. He survived, and now He gave you a second one, brother.
Bro, look at that. So
That's crazy.
naturally conceived in less than 2 years is like God gives you the, you know, He gives you the challenges, but you gotta always turn back to Him. That was a horrible time in my life, and I could have turned to anything else, but no, I turned to Him, and He provided. We have a you know, term baby.
That's awesome, bro.
From a pound baby that we were 3 months in the NICU, living in the hospital practically. And now he's healthy, and now he got his little brother that he was supposed to have, you know?
That's awesome, bro. That's, again, I mean, I don't care what your faith is or what people believe in, whether it's Buddha, Jesus, there's something up there that just controls this whole thing, brother. And I think if you just tap into that energy and you have faith in that energy, just great things are gonna happen. You know what I mean? And I'm just so thankful that you now he has his little brother, bro.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
There's always testimonies, bro. That's
Oh, bro. I mean, yeah, it's insane, man. How life works, and I really think God puts people around you, whether negative or positive, for a reason. And I want to just say this, bro. You're the model person for what it should be. Having the girlfriend, again, getting engaged, getting married, having kids, being successful. That's what I want for my children. I wish I would have, and I don't. You kind of said something earlier, my dad left school when he was in 4th grade, bro. What could when he iba de Puerto Rico? What could he, what could he show me? He never told me how to. I don't think he even knew how to read like that, let alone, you know what I mean? My mom left in 5th grade, going to Brooklyn, and I used to get mad at certain things that they didn't do, but now in my older age, I realized like they showed me what they could. My dad showed me how to work, how to, you know what I mean? Like how to work, how to use a drill, how to, you know what I mean? And not only showed me how to work, but showed me what I didn't want to do. You know what I mean? Like I don't like this shit.
right.
Like,
He showed you the,
you know?
the example of, of what it looks like, real life, how it looks like, and then you're the one that can make the decision whether you want to do that or not.
Yeah.
But yeah, bro. And the thing is that, your parents, what they can pass on to you is always gonna be your character and your moral compass, because whether they were successful or not, some people have successful parents and they don't have that
absolutely
relationship.
nothing, bro.
You know what I mean? Other people have parents that weren't ultra successful and they provided everything, and they'll still, till the day you die, give you everything that they have.
Yep.
And if at that time they did their best, that's all that counts. You know what I mean?
That's it, bro. They try your best. Be the you can only deal with what you're dealt with, but to take it and to do, just enhance that, and even just being, men. I don't think men speak enough. We don't do enough of this.
Right.
And then you have levels to it, like Latinos and Morenos. I don't think that there's a lot of hate going on in our culture, unfortunately. You kind of try to keep that secret to success to yourself, or that's why this platform is so important to me, bro, because I really want the listeners and the viewers to see this and see, two men that literally, bro, we're not getting paid for this. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, at this point we're growing in this podcast. It's not like, you know what I mean? Like, this is you have other things to do. I have other things to do.
Right.
We're doing this strictly for the impact that it can hopefully give one person.
Right.
That father, that mother, maybe the mother that's listening, or the future mother, obviously, if they're gonna have, like, tell your kids how important the dad is, and let them know, like, what I mean? Because it's just such like the nuclear family, bro, is just such an important thing, man. And even if even if you're not in the parent, you guys you're separated, co-parent. Like, be there. That doesn't mean you have to take care of the mother to take care of the child. Then freaking do it, bro. I
Don't
don't care,
leverage the child,
yeah, bro.
for your own good. And, divorce can be a very nasty thing, man. That can be, a rough situation to have to deal with. I can only imagine.
But if that's what it is, then fine. But the goal is the kids. Don't put the kids in that position. I think a lot of brothers don't. She's this, she's that, bro, that's your child's mother.
Right.
You got to help her, bro. You got to take care of her to take care of your kid, and a lot of women do that. They do leverage the kid, and I think if you want, there's two sides to it. The women might leverage the kid, and then you have the fathers that don't want to see the kid because they don't want to deal with the mom.
Right.
Like, bro, you got to get all through that. It's 2025. You know what I mean? Like, get all through all that BS. The goal is to make sure that child has the opportunities that maybe you didn't have. And if you guys aren't together, then it might be a little bit harder. But the job is the job, bro.
Right.
The job is they didn't ask to be here. Our children didn't ask to be here, bro.
Right.
And again, this is the platform is for that, is to, and I'm gonna have mothers on here. You know what I mean? I want to highlight mothers. When I say the whole Mother's Day, Father's Day thing, it's not a hit to moms or nothing like that. It's just, I think that we're never going to get that award. It's not like they're going to be, hey, listen, Daddy, you had a great job. And we don't expect it. Like, at this point,
we do it with zero expectations. And you know what's crazy? That being a father is what gave me the clarity and the vision to really understand how much, we value women. Because my relationship went way to another level, going through that tough challenge, now being, seeing her as a mother and doing the things that really God built her to do, that there's nothing I can do, as hard as I can try it. Like, I feel for single parents because it's a lot of work. I'm sure you have an idea how that can be. And there's nothing more remarkable than to see how strong women are and how their bodies transform and how strong they can be. And like, I have a whole different level of appreciation for my wife. And I think our relationship has taken to that other level where it's just another different love.
Bro,
it's not the same.
They're superhuman, bro. They're it's supernatural. I mean, bro, like, again, I'm a logical person, bro. Like, a person came out of a person, bro. Like,
you just made another human.
Bro. Like, how? Like, it's just, and having two daughters just gave me such a perspective on just women. You know what I mean? Like, especially Latinos, mujeres, dale. You know what I mean? It's having two daughters.
Now you're like, now your daughter's one out there.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
In the world.
So it's like, it just gave me just a different perspective and just the respect for women that I have. And my children's mother, they're amazing, bro. They really are amazing. And I think we both have a job, right? We both have a job. I think one is not more needed than the other, but it takes a village, bro. It really takes a village. Like, your mom, your dad, your people, your family, I'm sure they see those little babies and even to them, it's just like, wow, you know what I mean? Like, two new lives in the family, right?
Right.
Somebody has said to me, I heard somebody say, do you know who your great granddad is? And the guy was like, no, I don't know. Right. I want them to know who their great granddad is. I want my kids to know who I am, bro.
Right.
And that's like the biggest goal, right? Is to make such an impact on my family that generations down the road, you know who started all this?
Yeah.
Dariel did that. Emilio did that. Like, for our kids, bro.
Right.
Who started this? Or maybe it's your, not only you, your dad. And like, let's make it where our kids know who we are, bro.
I think as dads, bro, I think that's probably our number one responsibility. Yeah. One is to pass down our faith to our kids. Yep. And number two, I think, is to be able to change generational curses.
Yep.
There's things that may have happened in your family, things that may have happened in my family. Our responsibility is a big, like, we're talking about your kids are going to have kids that are going to have kids. Just from you alone, there could be, 100 years from now, 200, 300, people that will know your name because you're paying the price. And unfortunately, the price is never on a discount.
Yeah.
You know, we're living, bro, we're living in a world
That's
where there's
right.
not enough strong men. Culture is pointing everyone to be
Yes.
weaker and more understanding. The reality is that this is why I like your platform, because there has to be moments where men to men, we could share vulnerabilities and things that
Yes.
we've had to endure. But at the end of the day, once you shake off the tears, you got to put on your boots and you got to go
Absolutely.
figure shit out, because
It's
the
big,
world's
bro.
not gonna forgive you.
That's
The
true,
world's
brother.
gonna beat you down. Is gonna test you, and the reality is that you need to be strong to be able to make it. And the reality is that you're gonna have to pick your pain. It sucks to be broke, and it sucks, to have to do the things that it takes to be successful. So you
Absolutely.
choose which one you want to do. At the end of the day, life is all about the choices you make, and I think that you surrounding yourself with people, inviting people to your podcast that all are thinking and aligning in the same direction, dude, that's game changer, because I think it creates a purpose for us to help other people out there that might be struggling with anything, that whether we're speaking on this podcast, another podcast with someone else, they can see this and be like, man, like I'm not the only one that, I got dealt a bad hand. Who would have thought that you would have, like, nobody plans to get dealt the hand that you got dealt. No one plans for what happened to Steph and I, but things do happen. And the game changer is having something to fall back on. And for me is my faith,
Yeah.
because without that, I guarantee you I would have been, a complete loser in the street doing,
I agree.
all kind of shit. You know what I mean?
I agree. I think, and bro, you could have took when that happened with you and your first two children. A lot of men could have, or even women. Like I've seen the stories. Like now online, you see all this stuff, and that could have separated you guys. That could have brought you guys further apart. And now it's not here. You might not have had your next little man.
Right.
You know what I mean?
True.
Because just the conflict and the adversity and
So
but
true.
you guys came together, and it made you guys probably closer than ever. You know what I mean? I'm assuming
Big time.
made you guys closer than ever, and it's just such a wonderful thing to see. Just a couple in general, but just to see my people, my Latino people,
Thank you,
bro,
bro.
just go through that, and to be just stronger, and that's what I want for my daughters, my sons, and anybody listening in and hearing, man. Look at what this man said, and I appreciate you sharing that, bro. Because a lot, some things we don't, what I mean, we don't want to share. You know what I mean? Whether it's too
I think
painful.
it takes time, right? Once you heal a little bit, little by little, I've been sharing my story more just because I feel like it's important to share, because you never know if someone out there is going through it.
Yeah, bro.
And I shared the story for the first time. I don't remember how long ago in another podcast, and it was the first time I shared it. It was very, very challenging, right, to say the least.
Yeah.
But another buddy of mine who actually worked at American Express was going through the same thing, and like, bro, what do you do when you're in here? Being in a NICU environment. For those who don't know what a NICU is the neonatal intensive care unit.
Okay.
And there's multiple different levels. Before 30 weeks of the baby being born, prior to that, that's a micro preemie. Okay. Anything prior to 37 weeks to 30 weeks, that's a regular premature baby who they go through a different level of treatment. This was 2 1-pound babies. They're basically growing outside of the mother's womb in an artificial wound, an incubator.
And you were going through this for 3 months?
For 3 months, we were in the hospital, and seeing not only the loss of our first one, which was extremely traumatizing, but having to see, is Benji going to make
And
it?
waiting to have those two. So it's not like you
right.
had, oh yeah, we could, vamos a tener otro. Like
Right.
you waited, got blessed, and then now you're going through that storm.
And then going through that, and
3
then
months of, that's crazy,
that's the
bro.
rough part. But dude, when your back is against the wall and adversity hits you hard, it actually puts a magnifying glass on the things that you ought to be grateful for, because you see all the other families that were in there crushed financially, divorces, issues with their families. And in the midst of all that chaos, my relationship grew closer. Our finances, shout out to Beatrice and Johnny, man. I share this all the time, and it's very hard for me to not get emotional on this. But those people tapped me on the shoulder and said, take care of your family.
Wow, bro.
And bro, to be able to have financial stability through the worst time in my life is something I'm forever going to be grateful for. And that is something that's untangible. It's like, oh, what separates your business apart from other people that do mortgages? And I think it's us, who we are.
team.
People do business with you because they like you and trust you. And there's something special about how we've been able to deal with challenges, how we've been able to succeed from those challenges. And bro, I'm forever grateful, because in that moment it was very rough. And it's like what you're saying, that could have, been the make it or break it point. And thank God that, I had a great support system. My faith is my foundation. And then on top of that, we met great people there too. The two nurses that basically were the ones assigned to Benjamin and Levi are still close friends to us. We did a photo shoot with
awesome,
one, which we'll be posting some pictures of the maternity shoot. A little late, but it came in already. And she has a horse, and we did a photo shoot with her. We could stay in contact. The other one, she invited us to her wedding. You know what I mean? Like, you meet great people along the way, and
that was divine intervention, bro.
It's the journey.
That was divine intervention.
Yeah.
God gave you what you needed, brother. And this is not something, I mean, you just went through this not too long ago. Obviously, this is still fresh. It's still,
it's definitely fresh.
And I just, I mean, it's just, I mean, again, this is, and I didn't even know all this stuff, you know what I mean? When I met you, and I just knew, like, I knew, bro, like, I got to speak to this dude, bro. Like, I need to speak to this dude. I just applaud, I get so much, I just get so much pride, bro, looking at just, men like you and your family and your story. And I don't care, I'm Puerto Rican, you're Cuban. I mean, bro, we're all people. We're all human beings.
Right.
But just to see my own people just succeed like that, bro, is just I get a lot of pride, bro, when I see that, because I just know the perception of what we are in the world. To most people, bro, we're just gardeners. You know what I mean? We're dishwashers. We're so much more than that, bro.
Right.
And again, if you're washing dishes, that's not as, like you said, everybody needs to do something, right?
Right.
But for those dishwashers out there, for those gardeners out there, if you love what you're doing, you're happy, the goal is happiness. If you're happy, keep washing dishes. If you're happy, keep gardening, right? But if anybody watching, listening, if you think you should be more than this, then go for it. Go for it like this man did. Go for it like I've done. Don't allow your past or your situation to be your crutch. A lot of people, I didn't have a father, I didn't have this. Well, neither did I. Well, I had a father and he wasn't in my life. Well, okay. There's a lot of people that have fathers that are in their lives and they still don't do it.
Right.
So it's just, don't complain about it. Don't worry about the problem, worry about the solution.
Right.
I'm a solutions guy, bro. Okay, this is the problem, what's the solution?
Right.
Okay, this is the problem, what's the solution? Focus on how to get out of what you're in to get to the happiness that you want. You know what I mean? Find your passion, find what you love to do, and then work on it.
Right.
I mean, bro, you're blowing me away just because I didn't know that stuff, and I apologize for getting emotional.
Bro,
I'm very compassionate.
We need to be unapologetic. I'm not opening that door for men to be overly emotional. But at the same time, a lot of times we hold it in, and sometimes we pop. And then that's where the mistake happens. So in a form of, just hanging out with your boys, some kind of therapy where you just are talking, like, all my friends were there for me, bro. Like, and we have these conversations, and the more you get it out of yourself, the more the ability to be strong is going to be there, because you're not holding it in anymore. Now you're able to, share what happened, and then demonstrate, to yourself first and to everyone around you that you were solution oriented, and you just decided, I'm not going to be a victim to the situation. I'm going to be a victor of the situation, So that's
awesome, bro. Don't be a victim, be the victor. I think that, I can't wait till this episode comes out, because I think there's just so many great things that you've said, brother. And I mean, from when I saw your other podcast, I was just like, wow, bro, I got to get this dude on, man. Like, for real, bro. I really, like,
I appreciate
that's why I didn't mean to bother you. And you said you had
bro.
the baby. I was
Hey,
like,
listen, we're all busy.
On,
I appreciate you taking the
what I
time. Again, you have multiple different businesses running at the same time. Our business is a lot of communications, right? And we made the time because we had that feeling. Immediately, I'm like, dude, I have to go over there. You know what I mean? I want to get to meet this guy. I want to know more about it. I like the whole. I'm right now like
Yeah,
in
brother.
my
Yeah.
dad gang, big time. I
Yeah,
have
hell
them in
yeah.
every color, by the way.
Yeah, that's
And
awesome.
I'm, like I want to learn more about you, and that was great. Thank you for sharing all that. And you just gotta be unapologetic about sharing emotions, because that just shows you're real. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah. I
There's
mean,
no being fake here. It's
yeah,
not about the cameras and the
I
lights.
think we, we just, again, there's so much within men. We're so, it's just, we're very competitive. And I always say there's horses and there's race horses, right? You know what I mean? Like, I'm definitely a racehorse, I believe. I might not be the fastest in my old age, but I'm still a racehorse. I want to make a difference before I leave this earth and God takes me back home. I want to do as much as I can, and not having social media, not having any of that, until now that we're going to release all this stuff. And I see, I started noticing over the last all these years that and again, my dad taught me more in depth than he ever probably did alive, as far as, I'll say this real quick before we finish up soon, but my dad was the one that, my mother was the spiritual one. And she was the one that would go to church, and my dad would be like, you're giving your money to the church, and, esta gente. But she was the spiritual one. And never, bro, never did he ever, you know what I mean? But before he died, and he decided to stop taking dialysis, and that was a whole other thing, but he gave his life to the Lord, bro, before he went into hospice.
Amen, bro. That is huge.
So when I saw him do that, bro, I was like, yo, if he did that, yeah, yo, bro, I need to tap in. So, Jesus became my father when my dad passed.
Amen, bro.
And I started going to men's groups, and I started going to church, and I started doing all that. And it really, that really got me through everything, bro. And so it was, that's why faith is just so important. You know what I mean? I think you being the man that you are, what your parents taught you, and I heard this, our pastor at our church said this last year. I heard it, and it just, again, I'm a logical dude. And he said, that, the fathers, the men, the man of the house is the spiritual thermometer, thermostat.
Thermostat.
We're the spiritual thermostat for our families.
Right.
Mom's reading the Bible, it's mom. Dad reads the Bible. Dad mentions it. It's just a different thing.
It is.
So, I think that the fact that you're where you are, how you speak, what you're doing, the proof is in what you're doing.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Your kids are going to be great.
Thank you, bro. Thank you, my bro.
So, yeah, bro. Like, it's just amazing, bro, that you've been able to go through all that, and shout out again to your parents for setting up that foundation for you, because you obviously are a product of your parents, bro. And you embraced having parents. You didn't push them away. And you took that, and look at you, bro, successful marriage, successful, businesses, and a successful father, brother. You're going to be great, bro. Your kids are going to do amazing, and you're going to be able to teach them everything that you've learned, and they're going to teach their kids, and those generational curses that we all go through. I think we're just giving them an opportunity. You're going to give them an opportunity to just do better, even more things. Just to think about, I think about how the technology that's available now that wasn't before, right? Like, imagine what your kids, when they're your age, what's going to be available for them, bro. Like, it might be on some Jetsons thing, and they're flying around, but they're going to be prepared. You're going to have them prepared. You know what I mean? Right. And I'm sure you will. And I believe in this 100%. I believe that you're gonna see your other little man. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Eventually. Yep. And you guys will be together.
Yep. Thank you, my bro. I appreciate that.
I mean, you will. So, it's just a wonderful thing, man, to have people come together, men come together for literally, bro, no other reason but to hopefully impact other men, other women, no matter the color, no matter the race, and the fact that you have just done it, bro, through so much adversity, bro. Like, that just shows mental strength is just very, very important, brother.
Huge.
And you obviously have it because, bro, to be honest, bro, I don't know if I'd be able to handle what you went through, bro. I don't know. I don't know if I have the foundation, you know what I mean, to have handled that. When it comes to, like, one thing I try to talk to my kids about is death. We don't, like, my parents never really talked about death like that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, and that's why it's probably so painful for me, death and sickness. And I think we really need to teach our kids, bro, about that. You know what I mean? Like, so that they're prepared when we are gone. You know what I mean? That they can get together and if God blesses you with another one, I don't know if you guys are looking to get another one.
We definitely want to go for the girl.
You know what I mean? You get the girl. I mean, that'd be great. But at least you now know they can be together when that time comes. That that they have someone. Because I always tell my kids, nobody's going to know what you're going through except for you guys as a unit. People are going to say, you know what I mean? Like, oh my God, you lost your dad, he's in a better place, whatever, bro. Like, that's just what you say.
Generic,
but you don't, unless you have gone through that, bro, it's terrible, fam. Like, it's just a terrible time. And I think, and again, I'm speaking as an entrepreneur, right? You're an entrepreneur. Bro, there's people that lose their parents or lose a child and they have to go to work Monday.
Yeah.
Think about that, Papa. Like, if you didn't have Johnny and Beatrice to go, we got you, fam. Don't worry about it. Just imagine if you had to go to work at American Express on Monday. Con eso encima, bro. Bro, like, that's insane, bro. So
it's a lot to be grateful for. If there's anything, anyone out there listening and watching this, it doesn't matter how rough this scenario is. As rough as it can possibly be, there's someone in worse shoes than you are.
Yeah.
And there's always something to be grateful for. You know that the mind can't think of something positive and negative at the same time. Wow. So whenever, for me, whenever I feel overwhelmed, negative, or anything, literally just start a couple prayers and mention top 10 things you're grateful for. You'd be surprised how many people you catch them by surprise and you say, mention the top things you're grateful for, and they struggle to get to the third.
Wow.
So if you're constantly thinking of the things you're grateful for, no matter how deep, how tough the circumstance is, there's always something you could be grateful for, and your mind will automatically shut down the negative thoughts.
Wow.
And most people don't know that. That's kind of my little trick when I'm in my head, because we all get in our head.
Hell yeah. I mean, that's just human nature. Yeah. But that's awesome, brother. I didn't even. Yeah. I mean, I try to change. I'm the guy that's like the glass is half full.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I really try, not that happens all the time, right? Like, but I just think that it's just, I'm the type of dude, bro, nobody died. My kids are good. Does it really? I'll fix it. I'll deal with it. Right. Like, as long as my kids are good, my mom is good, my sisters, my brother's good. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, I'm good. Everything else
and believe it or not, we have an advantage to most people because from where we came from. I was born in Cuba. I came when I was 6 years old. You were born in Puerto Rico?
Well, I was born in New York.
Oh, you were born in New York. You know what your parents come from. I know what my parents come from. And the reality is that even when you're, going through these scenarios, we call them first world problems. It can always be worse.
Oh, yeah.
And if we got, this situation, you got your kid, calls you that they got an expense that came out of nowhere. You could think everything you want negative, and you could say, man, this is first world problems. Like, this is, I'm rich.
Well,
I'm rich in opportunity.
Well, growing up in New York, bro, I remember when we went when they brought me to Puerto Rico, I thought, we were broke. We were poor, bro. Heat gets turned off. We buy the stove warming up. It's cold. We opened the freezer, like ghetto shit.
Yeah,
But then when I went to Puerto Rico and I saw my cousins walking around with no shoes on.
No shoes, barefoot.
With, cinder block houses. La puerta is literally, bro, a cortina.
Yeah.
Like, bro, shitting in buckets, fam.
Yeah, dude.
I was like,
you got it good.
It's not that bad, even though I'm in the, you know what I mean? It's not that bad. So yeah, I agree 1,000%. We really don't know what we have until we see others. And that's not against, nothing against them, but look and appreciate, bro. You would not, I don't think, like, I think if you don't think about what you don't have, think about what you have. And it kind of goes back to what you said, like, think positively. You can't think, like, I love that you can't think negative and positive thoughts at the same time. Think about what you have. Don't think about what you don't have. Manifest what you want. You know what I mean? And put effort into what you want. And don't be so, people get so depressed when one door closes. No, bro, one door closes, God will open up 10 more. Mm-hmm. But you have to do the work. You have to put yourself in a position. You lost your job. The phone ain't going to ring maybe if you're blessed like that, the phone will ring. Yeah. But put the resumes out there and do the job. Have faith. Faith it till you make it, right? Like you said. And that call will come in. You know what I mean? So, bro, I would love to actually, just because I know time-wise we're going a little longer, and I know you got to go somewhere, but I would love to actually bring you back another day, man, if possible. And this ain't talking behind the scenes. I'm telling you on camera, I want you to come back, bro, because I think there's more stuff that you can talk about, that we can talk about. And you know, this was definitely something that I again, it's weird because I knew, bro, we were gonna. I told these
You
guys,
knew it was gonna happen.
bro. I told these guys, bro, I don't have a like literally, right, Justin. Like I was like, bro, this is gonna be a good one, bro. It was something in my spirit that was like, bro, it's gonna be a good one, fam. Like, and it obviously was, bro. And I think you just said so many things, and bro, these people that are listening in and watching, man, I really hope you guys listen to what this man has been through, recently been through. Look at his smile. Look at how he's just filled with enthusiasm and motivation and blessing to your family, blessing to your wife and your mom, your dad, brother, to Johnny, Beatrice. Like you really have, you have what it takes, bro. And sky's the limit for you, fam. You're still young. You're gonna just do incredible things, and I don't need even to tell you to help others because you're already doing it. You're already doing it on your other platforms or other podcasts you're doing, and I'm just so happy that you decided to do mine.
Thank you, bro.
And there's so much. I mean, bro, you could help so many people, bro. More people than I could ever help. Just because you're like, bro, you're just there already, brother. You're just
believe
there
it or not,
already,
no
bro.
one knows that. It's through impact.
Yeah,
the
bro.
impact you make on your 6 kids and the impact that they can make on, it's a compound effect. It's not about one person can make a bigger impact than the other. What if I only speak to that one person that I made a big impact, and then that
take it
person
off.
takes off? You never
Yeah,
know.
bro. No, it's true.
But I
it's true.
appreciate you for hosting this podcast, having me on. I appreciate you sharing some very tough things that you've had to deal with in your life, and for being vulnerable, because that's what this is all about. It's about real talk, and not the fictitious life that most people, especially on social media, can perceive as. And this right here is the authentic, real deal stuff, bro. Thank you for having me.
I appreciate you, and that's really what we want, bro. I want to give a platform for fathers and mothers to come in. We could try to get guys that have bro. I want real, authentic. This is the hard workers, bro, that have done it, can talk about it. And you're just the example of the type of fathers and men that we want to bring on this show, bro. You really are, fam. And I'm very, very thankful. And you've taught, even just from watching your last podcast, bro, you taught me, you helped me. I've been using what you've said. It helped me in just my everyday thing, bro. Like I remember if I'm feeling this, like, all right, bro, keep who you around, right? Be motivated. I mean, like literally, bro, like, again, that's why I wanted to reach out to you, fam. Like it really, like, I'm not the type of dude to say shit and I don't mean it. Like if I tell somebody I love you, bro, it's because I love you, fam. You know what I mean? If I have respect for you, I'm not a half-ass guy.
Right.
I'm either all in with you or I'm not.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I don't do that fake stuff, and that is what this is about, bro. Is having a real conversation where men could hear. And I'm like, I don't promote being, too vulnerable to an extent. Like we're still men, we still have to hold it together and be strong, but it's okay. So that when you don't pop, like you say, you don't pop, because I think that happens to a lot of guys. You know what I mean?
Yep.
You have to find the right people to speak to. I'd rather have one strong guy, 2 strong guys than 30 weak individuals. I want my team to be great, bro. You could have 50 people with you, yet you have 2 strong people in your businesses. And forget the back, you're the wife and the mom and the dad and all that.
The
that
whole
you have.
support system,
Bro, your whole support system is amazing, bro. So shout out to everybody on your team, man. Shout out to your family. Shout out to your new babies.
Thank you,
what
bro.
I mean? To your wife, bro. Yeah, bro. Coño, me hiciste llorar, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, coño. So, and the fact that you just, a Latino like myself, I'm just so proud of you, my nigga. Like, I'm so proud of you, bro.
Thank you,
I'm
bro.
so proud of
Likewise,
you, brother.
bro.
Very proud of you, bro.
You went against the grain and still made it happen, bro. That's
tried.
something to admire for
Well,
sure.
in New York, it's very like, oh, Puerto Ricans have kids and they're not. That's like the stereotype, right?
the
Puerto Ricans have
stereotype.
kids and they don't care. And I told myself I won't be that statistic, brother.
Right.
I won't. And if God took my biological away from me because He knew what was coming,
Right.
then that's what it was for. And then I embrace it. And I love my kids, bro, more than you know. I'm sure you love that
There's
little man.
no word to describe it.
Yeah, like I tell you, there's no words to describe, bro, like how much I love my babies, bro. And yeah, bro. So, and I know you do, because even the one that, God took home, I'm sure you love
We'll
that
be
one.
all together one day,
Yeah,
brother, for sure.
I'm sure you love him just as much as you love the two that God left. So, shout out to him up there in heaven. And I thank you for coming. I definitely, bro, like real stuff, bro. I want you to come back, man. I think we have more to talk about, whether it's more with financing to really teach our people. I think this kind of went the route that it went, which is why I told you from the beginning, no script, bro. We're going to talk. We're going to talk as men. We're going to talk as entrepreneurs. We're going to talk as fathers. But I also do want to get into more of what you do to try to teach others, like the same way I'm talking to you about wanting to purchase land, and you're going to hook me up and try to help me with that. Because that's a whole other segment of teaching our people how to create generational wealth. Get through the generational curses. How do we get generational wealth? How can we talk, like I always talk about life insurance. I think it's very important, like having life insurance. God forbid something happens. My dad died. I got the bill for the funeral. How can we do it so that when we're gone, our kids are getting the check to help them create generational wealth for their kids?
I love that.
So I would love to have you come back, and maybe we have a segment on that. You know what I mean?
Let's do it.
Thank you for coming in, my brother.
Thank you, my bro. I
Thank you
appreciate
so much,
it,
my
bro.
brother. Everybody listening, and we're going to have all this man's information for mortgage lending. Please reach out to him. He's already helping one of my guys with something that coincidentally text me yesterday about it. I already hooked him up with him. Shout out to Caesar at QWire Technologies. That's my brother. He's already going to help Caesar with it, so I look forward to helping Caesar out. Anybody needs any mortgage lending, please reach out to this man. His Instagram and all his information will be below. I want to give a shout out to our sponsors, D-Wipes, Keep It Clean, something finally for men. You'll see the information for that. And to Rich Off Printing, my guy Andre. Appreciate you guys. We love those digital Air IDs. Thank you so much. The information will be below, so you could check them out. And we just thank everybody that's watching and listening for your support, going on this journey with us. We will be bringing this man back in to talk about more financial stuff, more mortgage stuff. If that's something you're looking for, please tune in the near future, because we're going to have Dariel come back in and talk about that, because that's something that if I knew these things that this man knows when I was younger, I'd own a block by now. You know what I mean? So we definitely want to talk about that, and not only give you stuff about fatherhood and about that type of information, but we also want to give you information for you to help your family finances and get that financial freedom that you're looking for, because everybody deserves it. Everybody needs that. And you had said something before we go earlier, that the guy said something about he's more jealous about the freedom that you have more than the material stuff that you have.
So people that don't want you to succeed, is not that they're hating on the materialistic things that you have. They're really mad at the fact that you have freedom and that they don't.
Yeah, that's big, bro. That's big. So we're going to come back. We're going to bring this man back. When he has time, we're going to set it up for him to come back to talk about that, because I think that's just information that we need. And I appreciate you guys listening and watching in. Again, shout out to Serenity Studios for allowing us to host our podcast here. It's a great opportunity for us to be able to have a beautiful location. So shout out to Serenity Studios for allowing us. And anybody looking to do a podcast, please reach out to Serenity Studios. Obviously, their link will be below as well. Check them out. Great facility, great location. We appreciate you. Again, my brother, I appreciate you, fam. And again, shout out to your entire family, your entire team, Johnny, Beatrice, I look forward to hopefully working with you guys and stuff I want to do. Thank you guys so much for listening. We are out of here from the Father's Podcast. My man Dariel from Vice City Lending. We appreciate you guys for listening and watching. We are out of here, man. Peace.